Hi. So, in answer to the questions about snacking, craving, hormones, etc., I'll cover this in a few little chunks. So, the first thing is just general snacking tips. And I've based this bit on my Instagram post that I did the other day about this. So, basically, the first thing that you can try to do is just not buy the stuff that you know you're going to snack on. So basically, my adage on this is if it makes it into your basket, it's going to make it into your house, it's going to make it into your stomach. Now, for some people, that's not going to be an issue because they can control how much they eat. They've got the self restraint to. Um, a lot of people are really struggling with that at the moment. So I would say actually just try to have the self restraint in the supermarket instead, because then it's not in your house to start with. If that's not an option, then go for portioning it up into single portions as soon as you get it home, and then hide it, put it somewhere out of reach, put it in opaque containers. So if you are tempted to go for snacks, the things that are the worst for you, the highest calorie, are harder to get. So there's been research on if you leave things visible compared to if you leave things hidden away at the back of a cupboard behind other things in opaque containers. And you eat tons more if the things are visible. So, yeah, leave healthy stuff out on the side, but make the treats harder to get to. So, another thing I would recommend is to plan and stick to regular meal times. There's a few reasons for this. So one is if you're having proper meals with loads of veggies, non-starchy veggies, fiber, protein, you should be hitting your macronutrient and your micronutrient goals. Now, what that means is if you've got loads of micronutrients, loads of vitamins, loads of minerals, and lots of fiber, not only should you stay fuller for longer, but it also means that your body's getting the nutrition it needs. If you're eating meals and they're nutrient dense, then any snacking behaviors that actually are down to your body searching out for nutrients, they're going to be stopped. So, snacking isn't just about boredom or habit or emotion. It can sometimes be that your body's actually still needing the good stuff. So you've already eaten a load of stuff, but it's not giving your body what it actually needs. So you still need the nutrients, and your body's just going, oh, look, I want some more food. But really, it doesn't need more calories, it just needs more nutrients. So that's one thing. Another reason to plan and stick to regular meal times is that you then can only go into the kitchen at meal times. So that in itself should stop snacking. Coming back a little bit to another reason that your body might mistakenly think that you want food and actually you don't is hydration. So if you make sure that you have enough water in the day, then potentially this is going to stop you snacking, because oftentimes people confuse thirst and hunger. So actually you think you're hungry and really you're thirsty. For me personally, I know that if I have accidentally let myself get too thirsty, that's when I really crave sugar and when I really crave chocolate. I think it's just your body has basically it's gone into a bit of a lull. Maybe you've not moved enough as well, but definitely you're not hydrated enough. And so your cells are just looking for a way to get that energy. And then you go for the craving of the sugar or the chocolate. Speaking of sugar, if you do need a sugar hit, then try to get that from fruit rather than from some processed food. Firstly, because of the micronutrients, secondly, because of the fiber, thirdly, because it's going to be lower in calories. So if you do need a bit of a sugar hit, then go for some fruit instead. And I mean fresh fruit or frozen fruit, not dried fruit. Back a bit to talking about eating in general. Eat mindfully. I hate the word mindful. Most of my clients know I really hate it. If anyone talks to me about mindfulness, I kind of pull faces. But what I mean in this instance is eat slowly without distractions. So put down your damn phone and also try to put down your knife, fork, spoon, whatever. So when you're actually eating, you're taking breaks, you're pausing. Obviously with snacks, sometimes the problem is, coming back to my thing about single portions, that you kind of wander in, you've got your phone in your hand, you're doing a bit of mindless scrolling, and at the same time you're doing a bit of mindless eating. I'm sure there's plenty of people, not just me, who end up doing that with cereal, for example. And then my other recommendation on snacking in general is to get some structure and external accountability. So with structure, again, coming back to plans, so we have the meal plan, or you can have a planned snack. So the reason that I'm saying that is that it's not saying you can't snack or it's a really bad thing, although it's less than ideal to get the majority of your calories from snacks, obviously. But if you've got that structure, then you know what you're doing and you've got a plan. If you can't actually keep to yourself to that, then go for the external accountability. You might have someone in your house who's a great accountability partner for this, who can just keep you on track without making you feel shitty. Or you might need some external accountability. That's why people join like slimming clubs where they get the weigh-ins and things. It keeps you on track. So when you want to cheat, you don't go cheat. That's why people buy nutrition coaches and PTs. Very same reason. You've got that external accountability so that you know when you're tempted to do the thing, so you've actually got a reason not to, that you're going to kind of have to answer to your behaviors when the negative consequences of your behaviors become apparent in your waistline. Okay, so that's all more about snacking. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about cravings. So the first thing is, if possible, if you've got a craving, try distracting yourself. So we get quite a lot these days, and me personally, I feel that this has got worse during lockdown period. I feel like I've got ADD, that you're doing something, then doing something else, and doing something else, and then whatever. So this is actually quite a good technique to deal with cravings. So use distraction to your advantage in this. So you're starting to crave about something, go distract yourself with something else. Second is back to working treats into your daily calories and macros if possible. If that's something you can do and it's not going to trigger you to go into like a crazy binge or something, then work that into your daily calories. So you know that you're going to get a treat, and then hopefully you won't get so bad cravings. Third on this, and I've seen people suggest this for children as well, because children are constantly snacking as well, as even more than normal at the moment, is get your day's allowance of whatever treats you've got and put them in a tub. And that's all you can have. So say you were allowed a portion of chocolate, you're only allowed that portion, so you put it in the tub, and it's up to you when you have it, but once that tub's gone, once that tub's empty, no more today. It's going to stop you from being able to constantly wander backwards and forwards to the cupboard, get some more, not really realize what you're getting. On the topic of chocolate itself, I would recommend that you only have 85% rather than buying milk chocolate or a lower percentage, or possibly otherwise cacao nibs. So my reason for that is that it gives you that hit, but because it's so rich, it's generally not going to be as bingeable. Whereas if you find that you've got something like a bar of dairy milk or something, you can keep on going with that a lot easier. So that's my recommendation for that. And also when we're looking at the really high quality dark chocolate and cacao, that has actually been proven to be some good antioxidant properties to that. A little bit about hormones. So this is obviously more for women than men, but it's good for men to listen to this as well so they have understanding. There's going to be times in your menstrual cycle where you crave more. Specifically, there are times in your menstrual cycle where you actually need more calories, where your metabolic rate is different. And specifically, at that same time, there's changes in your hormone signaling. So leptin and ghrelin, which are the main hunger and satiety hormones, go a bit wonky at a particular point in your cycle. I think, ladies, you know exactly what sort of point in your cycle that is. And that can sometimes mean that people get more cravings, and then they can completely undo all their good work because they go OTT with how much they consume. So if you know that during about week 3, week 4, you're going to be extra hungry, put yourself a little bit extra in. And I mean a little bit. So a little bit of dark chocolate, or maybe even something like a banana. So that way you're supporting that time, you're giving yourself a few more calories, but at the same time, hopefully you're meaning that the cravings are going to be less because you're not denying yourself more. And then my last point is going to be on self-compassion, basically. So it feels like almost the whole world is snacking more at the moment and struggling a little bit with comfort eating, boredom eating, etc. And I think one of the things that's really important to understand is why that's happening. So we're in this really weird time, which is quite unsettling. And many people are reaching for food. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but let's just think about the fact that from the time we were teeny babies, people gave us food, whether it be as a tiny baby being breastfed or being given actual food. All that time, we have that associated with comfort. And so people are using food to self-soothe. Now, I'm not going to make massive comment on whether that is or isn't okay, because that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is understanding why it's happening at the moment. So many of the foods people are going for are also boosting their serotonin and their dopamine, which again are feel-good hormones. So there's a biological reason at this moment where you feel lonely potentially, where you feel uncertain, that you may be snacking more because your body is actually using that as a way of hormonally comforting you. So my 2 points I wanted to make about that is, one, be a bit compassionate with yourself and understand that, not to give yourself a free pass and let yourself eat anything you want to, but to understand why it's happening. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you weak. However, with that in mind, can you feel like there's another way to meet that need? So can you find that boost for the hormone boost another way? Maybe some gentle exercise, maybe a walk in nature. Can you find that comfort in another way that doesn't involve snacking? If you have a partner or a companion animal, then a hug. Can you find it through speaking to a friend? And again, that comes back to distraction as well. So really, it's gonna be a time when everyone is snacking a bit more. Let's just either work it into our daily calories, put in the structure so it's not going to be a problem, so we're not tripping ourselves up and sort of setting ourselves up to fail. Understand, if you're female, that there are going to be times in your cycle where it is more likely that you do need a few more calories. And lastly, as I said before, being kind to yourself. Now's probably not the time to be having a go at yourself about something. That doesn't mean that you can't make some positive changes in your habits and put in positive habits. But what it does mean is that if you want to get a handle on this, the easiest way to do so is with self-compassion. Okay, I think I rambled on for long enough. Bye.